Let me save you years of frustration. Nobody cares about your excuses, your pain, or your dreams. The world is watching what you do, not what you say. People may clap for you when you succeed, but they are not invested in your struggle. They're not lying awake at night thinking about your goals. That responsibility is yours, and yours alone. Too many people waste time waiting for validation, waiting for support, waiting for someone to cheer them on. But here's the truth. If you sit around hoping for people to care enough to push you, you'll be waiting forever. Nobody cares if you're tired. Nobody cares if you failed 100 times. Nobody cares if you say you'll start tomorrow. What matters? What always matters is what you actually do. The sooner you accept this, the freer you become. Because once you stop looking for approval, you stop living for other people, and you start focusing entirely on your own growth. That's where the power is. When you block out the noise, the opinions, the judgment, and pour that energy into your work, you become unstoppable. Understand this. The world rewards results, not intentions. You don't get respect for wanting it. You get respect for earning it. You don't build a legacy by talking about it. You build it by showing up every day when nobody's watching. That's why working hard in silence is so important. You don't need to broadcast your grind. You don't need to post every step. Just lock in, stay consistent, and let your results do the talking. And yes, it's hard. It's supposed to be hard. Grit requires sacrifice. While others are distracted, you stay focused. While others are scrolling, you're learning, building, improving. While others are complaining, you're creating. That's the difference between the ones who talk about change and the ones who live it. So the next time you feel like quitting, remind yourself, nobody cares if you stop, but you will. Nobody cares if you fail, but you will. The pain of quitting is yours to carry, just like the pride of success will be yours to celebrate. The choice is always in your hands. Don't work for applause. Don't work to impress. Work because you promised yourself something, and breaking that promise is not an option. Work because your future deserves more than your excuses. Work because at the end of the day, the only person who truly has to believe in you is you. Nobody cares until you win. And when you do, they'll ask how you did it. So stay focused, stay disciplined, and keep building in silence. Let them talk, let them doubt, let them ignore. Because one day, the results will speak louder than any words ever could. The truth is, nobody cares about your excuses, your struggles, or your dreams as much as you do. People may clap for you when you win, but they're not losing sleep over your goals, and they won't carry you across the finish line. That responsibility is yours and yours alone. You might think people are paying close attention to you, waiting to see whether you rise or fall, but the reality is that everyone is too busy dealing with their own lives. And that is why you must decide, once and for all, that your life, your progress, and your success depend on you. When you wake up in the morning and you feel tired, nobody cares if you stay in bed or get up and chase your dream. When you skip the workout, nobody else feels the consequence. You do. When you avoid the work, nobody else loses the opportunity. You do. This world is not going to stop and hold your hand. It is not going to hand you success because you wish for it. You can tell the world your plans, your vision, your desire to change, but words without action are invisible. Nobody will do the work for you, and nobody will save you from your own lack of effort. That sounds harsh, but it is liberating once you understand it. Because if nobody cares enough to carry you, then that means you are free to stop waiting for help and start relying on yourself. You stop seeking approval. You stop begging for validation. You stop needing others to believe in you before you believe in yourself. And that shift is everything. The strongest people in history, the ones who built empires, created movements, or transformed their lives, were not waiting for applause. They worked quietly, relentlessly when nobody was watching. They didn't need the world to care. They cared enough themselves to keep going. Your goals should matter to you more than anyone else. If you want financial freedom, then you are the one who has to discipline yourself to save, to invest, to build. If you want health, you are the one who has to choose what you eat and how you train. If you want to be great in your craft, you are the one who has to put in the lonely hours of practice. And yes, others may cheer when you succeed, but that cheer is only the echo of the hard work you already did when nobody was clapping. Or stop wasting energy explaining your dream to people who don't see it. Stop expecting people to sacrifice for you. They can't feel your hunger. They can't live your vision. They won't fight your battles. You have to accept that the weight of your dream is yours to carry, and that means you have to be strong enough to lift it day after day. The discipline you build, the consistency you show, the sacrifices you make, all of it will pay off. But only if you refuse to depend on anyone else to do it for you. And here's another truth. Even when people say they care, it's temporary. They might encourage you, they might give you advice, they might even support you in moments, but ultimately they still go home to their own lives, their own problems, their own dreams. At the end of the day, you are left with yourself, and that is not a weakness, it is your greatest power. Because when you realize it's on you, you take ownership, and ownership is what builds champions. It's easy to crave sympathy. It's easy to want someone to rescue you. But sympathy won't pay your bills. Sympathy won't get you in shape. Sympathy won't make your dream real. Action will. Work will. Focus will. That's why the winners in life are not the ones who had the easiest path, but the ones who accepted the reality that nobody else would do it for them. They embraced the grind, they stopped complaining, and they got to work. So if you want results, stop announcing your plans and start showing your progress. Stop waiting for people to care, because most won't until you've already won. And even then, their applause will fade. But what will remain forever is the pride you feel from knowing you stayed consistent when nobody was watching, when nobody was clapping, when nobody cared. That pride, that self-respect, that transformation, that is what you are truly chasing. Nobody cares about your excuses. Nobody cares about your struggles. Nobody cares about your dreams as much as you do. That may sound cold, but it should light a fire in you. Because it means you don't need anyone else's permission to start. You don't need anyone's approval to keep going. You don't need the world to believe in you. You just need to believe in yourself, work relentlessly, and focus on building the life you want. When you stop waiting for validation and start working on yourself with full focus, you become unstoppable. The moment you stop craving approval, likes, and applause is the moment you unlock your true power. Validation is a trap. It keeps you running in circles, adjusting yourself to please people who will never walk your path, who don't carry your vision, who don't feel your hunger. You cannot live your life chasing their approval. The day you realize you don't need it is the day you start living free. Energy wasted on impressing others is energy stolen from your own growth. Every second you spend trying to prove yourself to people who don't matter is a second you could have invested in building skills, developing discipline, and mastering your craft. Think about it. What do you really gain when someone claps for you? A few seconds of noise, a temporary high, a moment of pride that fades quickly. But when you put that same effort into yourself, into your health, your work, your character, the reward lasts forever. For the truth is, nobody remembers your words, your promises, or your excuses. People remember your results. They remember the transformation, the success, the visible proof of your effort. That's why the real victory comes not when you announce your goals, not when you tell the world you're going to change, but when you quietly put in the work and let the results speak so loudly that no words are needed. Silence in the grind, thunder in the results. That is the formula. Consistency is the real flex. Anyone can work hard for a day. Anyone can get motivated for a week. But those who rise to greatness are the ones who stay committed long after the excitement fades. They show up even when it's boring, even when it's difficult, even when nobody is clapping. That's the mindset that separates dreamers from doers. Dreamers are fueled by attention, but doers are fueled by vision. Dreamers get tired when nobody is watching, but doers thrive in the silence because they know that's where growth happens. You don't need to prove people wrong. You don't need to chase their recognition. When you chase their attention, you're still a prisoner to their opinion. But when you focus entirely on your own journey, you take back your power. And ironically, that's when people start noticing. They notice the discipline, they notice the change, they notice the results that can't be denied. Not because you begged for their validation, but because your work made them look. Grinding in silence is not about hiding. It's about building without distraction. It's about pouring everything you have into the process without worrying who's watching. Silence means you're focused. Silence means you're locked in. Silence means you're not distracted by noise, opinions, or critics. And when you do emerge, when your results finally show, the same people who doubted you will ask how you did it. So stop wasting your breath trying to convince people of your worth. Stop waiting for applause before you move. Start now, work in silence, stay consistent, and let your results scream the truth about who you are becoming. That is the real victory. That is what makes you unstoppable. Listen to me carefully. Nobody is coming to save you. Nobody is going to hand you the life you dream about. The world doesn't owe you applause, sympathy, or recognition. You either step up and take it, or you sit back and watch someone else do it. The choice is yours every single day. You say you want success? Then prove it to yourself, not to the world. You say you want freedom? Then discipline yourself enough to earn it. You say you want respect? Then stop begging for it and build a life so undeniable that people can't help but notice. Stop telling everyone about your plans. Stop seeking approval. Stop waiting for people to clap before you start. Let me tell you something. You don't need their validation. What you need is to stand in front of the mirror and say, I will not stop until I win. I will not quit until my dream is reality. I will not beg for applause because my results will make the noise. Look, your critics are watching. Some want you to fail, some don't care, and some are just waiting to see what you'll do. Don't waste a single ounce of energy on them. Don't waste your fire proving them wrong. Redirect that fire into proving yourself right. Imagine what would happen if every second you spend thinking about what others think of you, you invested into your craft, your body, your mind, your future. Imagine where you would be 1 year from today. You want to be unstoppable, then lock in. Silence the noise, block out the distractions. Forget the opinions. While they talk, you work. While they doubt, you build. While they sleep, you rise. That's the mindset that separates the average from the extraordinary. If you want to know the truth, people respect results, not excuses. People respect action, not promises. People respect consistency, not words. So stop telling people what you're going to do and show them who you really are by grinding in silence until the results make the announcement for you. Every day you have two choices: complain or create. Every day you decide whether you're going to scroll through other people's success or write your own story. Every day you decide whether you'll keep talking about what you want or finally put in the work to make it happen. And if you're serious, really serious, you already know the answer. So ask yourself right now, are you ready to stop waiting? Are you ready to stop depending on motivation? Are you ready to stop caring about their applause and start caring about your results? Because if you are, then today is the day you step into your power. Today is the day you stop seeking validation and start seeking victory. Say it with me. I don't need approval. I don't need applause. I don't need permission. What I need is focus. What I need is discipline. What I need is to grind in silence until my results do the talking. Nobody cares about your excuses. Nobody cares about your comfort zone. But when you rise, when you win, when you transform, everyone will care about that. So go out there, lock in, work hard, and focus on you. Because the world doesn't need another dreamer. It needs a doer, and that doer is you.